was the first time that we're back on this indoor stage again in like 4 months, and it was the first time that we were playing with James again in like 2 or 3 months after he was just singing. So the first couple shows, we did one show in Belgium before we came and played Wembley. So we're still getting kind of used to it again, but it picked up really well. Both of the Wembley shows were a lot better. You know, Wembley's notorious for, you know, the kids are standing there going, okay, impress us, you know. But actually we got a lot of energy back from the kids at Wembley, a lot more than we'd expected from when we played there the previous time. And also from everybody else came and said that they'd never seen a reaction like that at the Wembley shows. So we're really happy with it. And Birmingham tonight is the last show, and we got a couple of surprises and a few things we're going to try and work in tonight.
Excellent.
Come on!
Does Metallica have a routine for warming up for a concert? How do you all get ready to perform?
I think James, Kirk, and I all do stretches for about like a half an hour. Aerobics. You know, just full-on serious stretches we've learned through different trainers and different stuff as we've gone along, and from each other. And James and I both warm up from a vocal tape, you know, all that stuff, sometimes over humidifier. Those kind of things get steam going. So that usually takes place about 35 or 40 minutes before we're actually onto the stage.
Power bars.
Power bars. It's like a candy bar, but a little bit chewier and a little bit thicker.
More
you know.
cardboard flavored.
But it's got all this protein and carbohydrates and everything in just this bar, and you take it with a bottle of water, and it's like.
Gives you energy.
Well, first I just got to say that that's probably in the last year, that's probably the question I've been asked the most. What the hell is The Unforgiven about, the video? But the song is basically about a guy who's in a situation where he goes through life without really ever making any decisions for himself.
Right.
He's always kind of being told what to do or was being guided and so on, and about how just at the end he kind of just dies off and realizes that he never really did anything for himself through his life. The video is what the hell is the video about?
Well, I think it signifies that because
Yeah.
it basically goes into like a
Yeah, the
box
video
and
is
he
about
comes out
the
and
video
he's
is
all
about
there.
this guy who's a little bit in a similar situation. He's like being tormented all through his life, as you see in the beginning. Then he kind of goes and hides in the sewer system and basically grows old and goes through, you know, everything in the sewer system, basically lives his life in there, and then at the end, very sad, just kind
So
of
it's
lays
very,
down and
very sad.
dies away.
When I felt what I've known, never shine doing what I've shown. Never be, never see, won't see what might have been. What I felt, what I've known, never shine doing what I've shown. Never free, never me, so I dug the end for you.
Okay, the whole band is here actually. James, as we had said
Why?
earlier, is not feeling very well, so we'll say goodbye to James. Lars
That was
is
James
here,
being his
everybody else is
modest
here.
self.
So, Lars, can we ask you a few more questions sent in by viewers? Is that all right?
I want to answer the other guys, the ones that were sent in for the other guys.
Do you?
Do you like giving guitar lessons? Do you feel like you're a guitar hero?
Absolutely.
Why are you?
I do this thing. I do this where I play guitar with my butt.
Okay, yes, I can tell it's getting close to gig time. Let me introduce you to Big Mick. This is Metallica's sound man, and
Unbelievable as it is, isn't it, really?
how long have you been with Metallica?
Too long. About 8 years. Just having dinner, by the way. Some friends of mine. Would you like to introduce yourselves, guys? These are all the trucking corps.
How many people are on the tour, you know, working behind the scenes?
We have about 50 crew, I believe. 50 crew? Yeah. Plus these scummy type truck drivers here, which of course they'll kill me later for.
Now, from your point of view, how difficult is it to do the sound with this new diamond-shaped stage? Does it pose any more difficult problems?
Slightly. Only in the fact that you have people everywhere and you have to cover it all around the place. Oh,
That was a bean.
you see that little bit of beam came over from the trucking core the other side of the room. As to the sound problem, not a real problem. We kind of dealt with it in the early days, so we're sort of cruising along quite comfortably now.
All right, we're heading up to the famous snake pit now. And this is actually the diamonds in the centre of the stage. So how many people can fit in here?
Well, it varies, but for the UK and Europe, basically 85 people.
85.
Just because of the health and the fire rules here in Europe, they're a bit more stricter than America.
And what's the sound like when you're actually in the middle of the
You
stage?
can see hanging above us here, we've got 2 monitors here which give a complete mix of what's going on out front, and there's a small monitor here to see what's going on the video screens out front.
So how did you get into the snake pit?
Oh, friends.
Friends of friends, there you go, that's how you get in there.
The idea came together pretty quick. As soon as we realized we wanted to do something that was not the normal configuration, then it was like, okay, well, here you go, and then everybody can run around, and James can have mics all over the place, and we'll have a couple of kits that move around, and blah, 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 and okay, off we go. And then the major revelation that came, that was the last thing that happened, was this thing about we had this big dead space in the middle of the stage because we realized we would always be playing out to, you know, where obviously where the kids were and so on. So it's like, well, the stage is so big, what's going to go on in the middle of the stage? Well, maybe we'll have like a prop or an inflatable statue or a big cross come up and something highly original like that. And then it was like, well, maybe we'll leave that to the other heavy metal bands. And then Mensch came up with this idea, why don't we just basically put people in there? It's like, yeah, okay, Peter, go lie down and we'll be fine. But then we realized, it's like, wait a minute, maybe we could actually put people in. And then we like basically cut like a big piece of the stage out in the middle and they put a platform in there. And now there's about 150 people in there that have a very unique view of Metallica.
I'm going to show you something which we're probably not allowed to show you, but the whole of the ceiling is plastered with pictures of scantily clad young ladies. This says tuning and attitude, and that's exactly what is going on backstage. There's Kirk, he's warming up for tonight's show, and we are not going to interrupt him because I think we're going to go and find Lars again. And if we go in here, if you'd like to follow me, Lars is actually working out the set list for tonight's show, and we're following him around the whole day, and it's getting a bit much now, isn't it? Do you change the set sort of nearly every night then?
Well, what we do is, look at the Metallica set list.
what we try to do is, this is our second night in Birmingham, and whenever we have like kind of an A set that's the main, we feel is the best set, so we play that on all the places where we have just one night, but all the places where we have two shows, we always try and change it around the second night, but we're trying to move some things around here that's giving me a hell of a headache, because we've been opening with Enter Sandman for most of the tour. For the last couple nights, as you can see, we've moved Sandman down till the end.
Why do you always use the good, the bad, and the ugly as your intro tape, and who came up with the idea?
That credit goes to Johnny Z. Johnny Zazula is his name. He was our first manager, and why do we always use that? It's a good question. I'm not sure I have the answer to that. It just, you know, we started doing that in like '83, and it felt right, and it's pretty much been there ever since. It's funny because somebody else asked me about that the other day, and I answered that maybe it would go into retirement after this tour. I don't know why I said that, but I did. But it's really moody, and it's very epic-y. Yeah, and it felt right, so there it is. It signals that we're on our merry way.
And it's showtime right now.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, but I have to go somewhere right now. Bye.
So, good luck in Europe, and thanks very much to Kirk for talking to us. James is walking into the arena, and there's Jason going crazy. And I hope James is feeling a little bit better because he wasn't very well. And there goes Lars. Bye, Lars!
Why this way?
Oh dear, this is crazy. Time for total Metallica meltdown, and you know this guy who's joined me, James. I'm very pleased to welcome you to Headbangers Ball, because last time in Birmingham you weren't very well, so I'm very glad to see you well today. How are you doing?
Yeah, better mood.
Now, there were rumours that Metallica might headline Donington, although we heard that there wasn't a Donington this year after all. What are the pros and cons of headlining your own show rather than doing a big sort of famous festival like that?
Well, it's good to see that people are coming to the show because it's Metallica, not just because it's a Donington thing, which is an event in itself, you know. But it's good to see a lot of crazy people here to see, you know, good music that's going on today.
Well, it's a great lineup. Everybody agrees that. When you were in the big arenas, you had the Metallica film. Now, do you think that these opening bands, the Almighty, we can hear behind us, do you think that they're an important part of the outdoor vibe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The film wouldn't really work outside, would it?
Well, I mean, everyone's seen the film, and I've seen it, and it's, you know, we know what we look like, and everyone else does too now. So it's good to have some bands up there rocking and getting people happening out there.
It's very good of you to allow bands to use the whole stage and everything. I think some of them are a bit...
What, they are?
No snake fit today, though.
That's our thing.
Right. Now the Metallica album obviously allowed you to get a lot of things off your chest, but your life has changed so much over the last 2 years. I was wondering, do those subjects and experiences seem to you like they're from like another era of your life?
Like 2 years ago or something, yeah. Well, all the lyrics on every album like when you go back and listen to them or read them again, there's like a whole new meaning to the thing. It might be something completely different, but yeah, I mean, I feel like there's something missing inside me now because I need to kind of create new stuff again, which we will probably be doing soon when we get back. So.
I mean, are these new songs from the Metallica album, are they still really fresh to play live 2 years down the line?
Yeah, definitely. I'll actually listen to the thing too. I'll put the record on.
And also, I guess playing live, they're a little bit shorter and maybe a bit simpler. Does that help as well?
Well, that definitely works better. I mean, it makes the set list look more impressive, you know? Wow, 20 songs now.
Just a little earlier there, we saw Mr. James Hetfield of Metallica in a very sunny mood, rather like the lovely weather here at Milton Keynes. And now I'm very pleased to welcome Lars back to Headbangers Ball. How are you doing, Lars?
I'm very sunny too. No, we're all in a really good mood. When I woke up this morning, I was like, yay, it's finally here. Let's do it. Let's get on with it. And we came down here. We saw Diamond Head, watched a little bit of these guys, Almighty, which I'm sure you've heard of, and I'm in a really good mood, which is scary.
Good, good. Let's talk a little bit about the Metallica live show, because you're winding up the end of 2 years on the road. How do you feel that the band and the live show has progressed and developed over those 2 years?
Steadily worse. No, it's pretty much gone up most of the way. We're playing a lot better than we obviously were 2 years ago. We know what we're doing a lot more. We had a little bit of a period in like maybe February, March into early April where we were in a little bit of a lull, but we're now, since we started this European leg 3 weeks ago, we're playing probably the best we have in the last 2 years. We threw a couple of new songs in there, moved the set around a little bit and so on. So right now I feel better than I have the last 2 years.
myself this way. Life is as it always. All these words I don't want to say, and nothing else matters. Trust I see and I find in you. Maybe deeper or something new. Open minds for a different view. And nothing else matters.
Lars is still with me on the Headbangers Ball, waving to all his friends backstage at Milton Keynes. There's a great atmosphere back here, actually. And Lars, we were just talking in the last segment about the forthcoming live album and accompanying home video, and you being such a knowledgeable rock fan, I'm sure you'll agree that a lot of live albums have been a pivotal point in some band's career, like Kiss, Alive, and Be Careful, Made in Japan. Do you see that with Metallica, or is it like closing one chapter, ready to start a new one?
I wish I could be that philosophical about it. It's just like, we've got all this stuff lying around in all our storage facilities. It's time to clean. No, I mean, on a more serious note, it's going to be a long time until the next Metallica record comes around. And I think that we just feel that it's a good time right now to just push some of this out. More people to wave to. Hi, Mick. How are you?
That's Mick.
That's Mick. Anyway, what was I talking about? Sorry.
I think it's important to make a clean out all your
Well,
backlog
yeah.
kind of thing.
We just, we have so much footage lying around. We have all these shows from the Justice to all this stuff from the last couple of years. And I just think that now is a good time. We really want to take a couple of years away from the spotlight. We really want to just be low key. We want, and so on. It just seems right now is a perfect time to just release this kind of thing. Like I said to you in the last segment, it's not something for, it's not like something we think is going to sell as many as the last. It's just
For the dedicated
for the fans who've been there, and it's like our thing to them, and blah, blah, blah. And I just, also, I don't think that necessarily maybe live albums mean as much as they used to. If you think back to the 70s, like you were talking about, your Made in Japans and so on. Now with the advent of videos and what kind of role that plays in it, it's just like, live albums per se, a live album just by itself, nobody really does that anymore. It's always a live album and a video, and everybody always pays more attention to the video and so on. So I think we're trying to combine the best of both worlds and stuff like that by giving everybody different shows and so on. And hey, we're just doing ours. Hey, like I said, we're cleaning the attic out.
That's the full story on Metallica as we speak here at Milton Keynes Bowl. Forthcoming live album, accompanying home videos. Then when the tour finishes on the 4th of July, the band are going to take some time off, nobody knows how much, before they start getting back together again and start writing for the next album. So your thoughts about tonight, Lars? There's a gig a little bit later.
Oh, I thought I was just here punting around. It's going to be great. I mean, what can I say? Look at this day. It's been a great 3 or 4 hours so far. Like I said, I'm in a great mood. James is in a great mood. This is all very scary. So it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. There's 60,000 people out there. The fact that we can come back to England and play to 60,000 people in one go is incredible. So it's going to be good. I feel real good about it. trying to work really close with the fan club and trying to do a lot of special things for them. And it's been up and running for about a year and a half now. And I think that every time we get a chance to throw something special their way, we do it. So we booked a show at the LA 2, and basically you had to be a member of the fan club to get in. So we sold it out, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. We're putting out a thing for Christmas that will be the fan can, which is basically a kind of a thing that we had for sale a couple years ago. These cans that the record company did, we're going to do those for the fan club. Special items. They'll get some sneaks from stuff in the studio on the new record that won't be available anywhere else, and stuff like that. So it's just doing a lot of stuff like that, and trying to give them access to a lot of things Metallica are doing first.
So close, no matter how far. We must all go apart. I'm trusting who we are. Everything else matters. Never care for what we do. Never care for what we do. And I know
It's just the whole setup is just very, very together. Like I said, it's all about how you want to do it. And if you want to keep your feet on the ground and keep in touch with your fans and keep in touch with what's going on around, it's not hard. But just most of the people that end up in situations like us, selling 30 million records or whatnot, they sort of tend to sort of drift. And it's just like, if you really want, you can do it. And we've been doing it, and it's going fine.
Thanks very much, man. We'll see you around. Thank you. Good night.
Palmerty. Catch them on tour with Metallica. The new album, Wise Blood. Out now.
Backstage. So welcome back to Headbangers Ball,
Thank you.
Lars. How are you doing
I'm
on D-Day?
I'm doing real well. The mood is good.
It is.
The vibe is good. The weather is good.
Fingers
At least for
crossed.
England it is. And everything's great. I mean, I'm walking around here. I'm so happy. Everybody seems to be very happy. Is it bad when you're like really in a metal band you're supposed
No,
to
I'm not just saying this, but this, I have to say that in 6 years of coming to Donington, this is one of the nicest, most friendly atmospheres I've encountered. It's great, isn't it?
It all starts with us.
It does. Now, it's always that everybody's always like in their own head putting together their ideal Metallica, their ideal, stop, you phone me up, their ideal Donington bill. Now, you actually had the chance to make your own kind of dream come true, right? So how did you go about picking the band?
We've looked in our record collection. Let's see, what's my favorite record at the moment? It's COC. What was my favorite record last week? It was Warrior Soul. I mean, you just, you got a bunch of friends in bands, you got a bunch of bands that you like hanging with, you got a bunch of albums that you like listening to, and it's great. 8 weeks ago when they came to us and said, you guys want to do this? We said, sure we will, if we can make sure that,
like we put the bill together and have something that we feel strong about, and that everybody else out there feels strong about, and then we just went to work.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm looking at this bill going, this is like the strongest bill that there's ever been up here. We were really persistent about having as many bands on there as possible, and it's a great day. Even the guy in Slayer was smiling earlier. That's how good of a day it is, all right?
Well, you've got a great taste in music. It's a fine bill that represents the best of what's going on in rock music at the moment. Now, I know that you're in the studio recording your next album, and when you're in the studio, it's kind of, you have to be very kind of focused. It's quite intense. What was your motivation to actually just like break out of the studio, literally? Was it a challenge?
It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought we could just sort of, you know, go from one day recording into rehearsals the next day and come and do this. You know, we were in the studio literally till last week, and trying to rehearse every day and get our chops together for this and so on just wasn't as easy as I thought. But we've managed it. We can kind of remember Enter Sandman and Sad But True and whatnot, and you know, you'll see in a couple hours when we head up there. But we got to get straight back. We got to go play this gig up in Canada next week with some of those other bands, Hole and Baruch Assault, and then we'll go right back in the studio in a week and a half and continue finishing the record. Yeah, I mean, we're playing a couple of new songs. I think they're a really good indication of what all the new material's like. Simpler, looser, more kind of jammy, a little more kind of attitude-oriented and things like that. And it's just, we're trying to capture a feel on tape instead of trying to capture like something perfect, which is really different for us. And it's going really well, and in 6 months, the rest of all you guys will hear it. And I hope you like it.
And having played here at Donington, that's going to like really kind of fire you up. Do you think that's going to take the adrenaline back into the studio when you get back there?
Oh yeah, all the energy. We're just going to harness all the energy here and take it into the studio. It'll be great.
vibe? Can you give us some kind of idea of the feel of the new song?
Boy, it's hard to tell at this point. There's not really any kind of big picture to it all. I could just tell you that there's a little, different things going on with different stuff. It's not. We're just coming in with a loose attitude, and whatever kind of happens, we're just kind of recording everything we do in the studio. So.
Do you think there's going to be some surprises, something very different for Metallica this time around?
It's not a surprise to us, but to others it might be. I mean, after whatever the last album was 4 years ago, whatnot, between that album and now, we've lived with ourselves, so we know what we're doing. Other people are just, they put the Black Album next to the new one and go, wow, So it'll be different.
What about the lyrics? Is there any kind of lyrical theme developing?
I got to write them. I haven't written anything yet.
All right. Well, honest.
Actually, I wrote some on the flight over here for the new song we're playing here. So.
Right. Well, that stunning headline performance at Donington 95 saw Metallica taking a day out of the studio from recording their current album, Load, and gave us a few hints of what to expect from the new record. Load eventually saw release in June of this year, and it's already a multi-million seller. So, from MTV Days Revisited, we're going to conclude this special show by bringing you right up to date with the very latest Metallica news. The band are currently on tour in Europe with a 2-hour performance that sees them playing on 2 stages in the round. The guys make their way via walkways from one stage to the other, meaning that you can get closer to Metallica than ever before. For the future, there are rumours that Metallica will play a huge outdoor concert in the UK next summer, possibly headlining Donington for a second time, and they also have enough songs already recorded for another new album, which should be released in mid-97. Well, there's a load more Metallica to come on Metallica Weekend. For example, tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can check out what happened when I joined Lars and Kirk on the Metallica train traveling from Milan to Rome. That's the Headbangers Ball, a load of Metallica special tomorrow at 3 p.m. For now, though, I'm going to sign off with a taster of the band live on their current European tour. See ya.